Hey everybody, welcome to the next project. This is our final episode, or episode 3 of our 1959-ish K Restomod project series. If you're new to the series, please remember to jump back and check out the first and second episodes. They'll tell you a lot about where this started and where we are now. But we've done just about everything we can to this guitar, and boy, well, we've got it back together, and with a little bit of luck, the owner's going to show up very soon and hopefully enjoy it. Oh, let's find out if he does as we wrap up the next project. A lot of work on an acoustic guitar, and I know nothing about acoustic guitars, so it's a big learning curve for me. We have got temporary nut in here. This is, well, it might be the final nut, but it's not the final cut. We have just finished making a saddle for the bridge that we made. Really good intonation, D, G, B, and high E. E and the A are a little sharp yet. I might consider going to an 1/8 inch wide saddle to help be able to push the intonation back just a hair bit more. Otherwise, it's pretty good. The neck is just got a couple thousandths relief in it. It does have more of a concave shape to it on the treble side than it does on the bass. The bass is closer to flat. The treble has some relief in it. The tuners are tuning. Piezo pickups are piezoing. We're going to probably do an understring level on this. Otherwise, it sounds good. $73 guitar back in 1950, 1960. So, we're getting close. Let's continue the next project. We've got the strings jacked up all the way along, tuned up to pitch. Grab the Rectify Master Katana, which is an understring, under tension fret leveling device tool. Set the katana to match the radius or the relief of the neck, which under tension varies from one side of the neck to the other on this guitar. This is a poplar neck. It's not hard maple, it's not mahogany, it doesn't have carbon fiber rods in it, it's poplar. So set the relief of the katana to match the relief of the neck between the B and E treble strings. Had marker in all my frets. Gently went over everything to touch it up just to see what's high, what's low, what's going on. First fret's high on the B and E, and way down at the very end extension of the fingerboard, it's also high. Everything else seemed a little low. When we did a flat leveling, everything was flat and level. Had run a rocker over everything. Everything was looking good. Rockers aren't the answer to everything either. As I worked across the board, I noticed things were shifting a bit. The relief actually is different under tension on the treble side of this guitar than it is on the bass side. The bass side is actually much flatter. The treble side gets a sway in it. Nature of the beast. So we're going to run over everything with a katana, try to make all the neighboring frets play nicely with each other. And then we'll continue on with crowning and polishing, and then on to whatever is next as we continue the next project. We're about ready to have some fun. We are getting the fingerboard taped off for its protection from me, because I'm a crazy guy. I might do something terrible. We don't want to do that. Oh, look at this. It's the Music Nomad S file. I have been continually trying this file ever since I got it like a year and a half ago. And I'm just going to commit to it. I'm going to use it for this whole job. And I've been told by a number of people that I don't know how to use it. I'm using it wrong. I'm not following the instructions. I've cheated the file. I've leaned it side to side. And that's what I have to do again today. Which makes me wonder if the safety rib down the middle is really doing much for me. It's roughly a 240 diamond grit file. It has some really neat features. It's ergonomic. I like it overall. I'm just not a huge fan of how it kind of works, but that's all right. And actually it works a lot better if you use a cutting fluid, and I'm using 3-in-1 oil. And that just helps keep the diamond grit from plugging up with fret filing debris. After I got it all done, I decided to grab this offset file. This one is from Bitterroot Guitars. It's a 300 grit file, and I'm using it to go over all the frets to reduce the file scarring from the Music Nomad. It has 240 grit. This is 300 grit, so it's a little finer grit. Also used the offset file to bring in the crown just a little bit more. Here we're starting to ease the edges of the frets, and this is probably the first fret end file I ever purchased. It came from Amazon. It was probably $15 a decade or more ago. I don't know. Here we are back using the offset file to help finalize the rollover, the easing of the edges. Now we're jumping into using the grip, which is a sandpaper holder of sorts, and I use it to start the polishing process. So I call this polish sanding. In this application today, we're starting out with 600 grit sandpaper, wet and dry sandpaper. Just roll it up, tuck it in there, go all the way down the board, and one piece of sandpaper, you just advance it a little bit, sand, polish the fret. Just go on down the board, advancing the paper just a little bit with each fret. And when I got to the end, I think I jumped up to 1200 grit paper. So started with 600, then jumped right into 1200. Now it's time for power polishing. And I'm using almost empty tub of Mother's Mag polish, but you could use any kind of metal polish really. Using a rotary tool like a Dremel and a little wool/felt pad on the end. Doesn't take long per fret. You don't want to just sit there and grind on them, but they shine up really nice. It's a good process overall. Works for me at least. So I do what I do, and I'm always trying things though. Peeling away the protective layer of tape, and I didn't damage anything, so that's nice. Going to give it a little rehydration drink of Howard's Feed and Wax, which is good. This board is kind of dry. Give it another drink. We're going to give the body a little shine up also. In general, the guitar was in pretty good shape for being roughly a 59 or 60 vintage guitar, but we're going to try and give it just a little bit of luster. Not going to make it new. It still has plenty of scratches and things in it, but they're shiny scratches now. Using some ultra fine compound on a stick, using my fine, I don't remember what buffs those are called. There's two different types. There's a Canton and something, I don't know. Anyway, I'll look it up. Maybe I'll put it in down here. Just using the finer compound and the finer buffs to go over everything. Just remove some of the age and haze and wear and whatever. Not trying to make it look new, just trying to make it look nice. As it gets played, it will regain some of its aged patina once again. We're getting it looking kind of nice. Decided to take a look at the dead-armond sound hole pickup, which is a vintage piece of hardware, and the readings were all over the board, from milliohms up to ohms and everywhere in between. So I was like, wonder if the pot's bad. So I desoldered everything, took the pot out, hooked the pot up to my multimeter and checked it, and the same numbers. So it's the pot that's just giving me every number in the book. So then I hooked up the pickup. Nothing, out of limit. It's no reading. So I just sent the owner a message, see if he has another one of these or if he knows what the K value of this should be in the ballpark. I'm hoping I can fix this pretty easily, or rewind it if we can figure out what the range, the value range of this pickup should be. So we'll take care of that. Other things to work on as we get back to the next project. Well, I have severe guilt and remorse, and just I can't sleep at night because we ended up having to rewind this vintage pickup. I was really hoping to be able to get the original pickup windings working. I couldn't find where the brake was, and I thought it was the potentiometer, but it wasn't. So anyway, after mulling it over, thinking about it a long time. So I finally bit the bullet and just decided to rewind it. I did a bunch of measurements, measured the final coil width and height and all that stuff. Also the wire size, and it appeared to be 46 gauge wire, which if you're familiar with guitar pickup wire, a lot of them are 42 gauge, some 43, occasionally 44. This is 46. This is thinner than thin. I ended up winding this pickup twice because I broke the wire about halfway through the first time. The second time I wound it to, 5,900 winds, which was 9.9K. So then I unwound it. So we ended up with about a 9.3K final pickup. Oh boy. Since the original potentiometer that came with this pickup was shot, I couldn't get a reading to know exactly what it was. I went to the internet to try to find some good information to know where I should target my search to know what pots to use with this single coil pickup. Hint, hint. There's no good information out there. Everybody's doing their own thing. Some people were saying 250K pots, some people saying 500K pots, different capacitor on it, you name it. It's all over the board. So I thought about this two ways. One like a Strat pickup, and then the other way like a P90 pickup. Roll of the dice. So at this point, we're going with 250K pots, audio, and a linear for tone and volume, and we're getting things soldered up. One thing I'm not showing here, I do have a ground wire that's going to be jumping from the tone pot to the shielding of the output lead. So that's not shown here because at the moment I forgot about it, but I have since remembered. Also, there's that little 2-lead plug that is just hanging out there, the red and black. That is going to go to our bridge string ground plate that's about 3 inches away from where these pots are going to go. Trying to think ahead, which when I get there, I'll have to look back and go, nope, I wasn't thinking in the right direction. Here's a quick look at the wiring. It's time to start putting old K back together. We have marked and are now drilling mounting points for the secondary output jack. There is an end pin jack for the piezo pickups, and then there will be this output jack for the sound hole pickup and controls. I'm using some adhesive back self-adhesive cable clips. Stick them to the inside of the body. They will help clamp the wiring for the control circuit up against the body so it's not flopping around loosely in there. Now putting the jack plate on and giving it a quick snug up so it doesn't fall apart as it goes home with the owner. Putting the screws in, doing final tightening by hand. Jumping back, putting the pick guard back on, had screws holding it on. That was interesting. And I was glad to see that the pick guard actually didn't shrink in the amount of time that I had it off of the guitar, so that was nice. Using some dental floss to simulate where the string pads will be, clamping the dead-armond sound hole pickup in place. I'm going to juggle it around a little bit, remove the dental floss, put on the control knobs, and give it a quick test. Ooh, it works. Ooh. Working into the 11th hour. The owner is due to show up within, any time pretty much. I had a pre-slotted bow nut for this guitar that was pretty close, and originally I had planned to use it
But as I got closer and closer to the end, I was like, the string spacing was just a little too wide. Pushed the two E's a little bit too close to the edges of the fingerboard, which, you know, in turn makes everything in the middle a little wide. So I grabbed a bone blank and started measuring. I kind of used that pre-slotted blank as a tracing template, but then I used a StuMac string spacing ruler to determine a better arrangement for the string spacing, and then went to town, did a lot of filing, then test, and do a little more filing and test, and, you know, lather, rinse, repeat, that process. But we got it to where the string action over the first fret is pretty low. Not insanely low. This is not a shredder guitar, but pretty low. Nice and uniform. I think I went 14 thousandths for the E and B, 16 for the G and D, and 18 thousandths for the A and E strings at the first fret, unfretted. You know, that's just string height over the fret.
It's cute. Now he's gonna lay down.
Nice.
The action, I think, is at like 5/64 at the 12th on the low E and about 4/64 in the high E.
Feels great, actually.
I didn't want to go too low.
Yeah, you know me. I should have brought a slide. I forgot.
Will you be using it with a slide?
Probably. Boy, this feels great, John. Does not feel like a, what, 70-year-old guitar?
Yeah.
No.
I do have the nut kind of probably maybe too low for a slide though.
No. This is comfortable. I'm looking at the action and I'll be fine with this.
Okay.
I don't set up my guitars specifically for slide,
All right.
but that is why I kind of just keep the action just a tiny bit high. I have a light touch with the slide, so I can get away with it, because otherwise then it's like I want to be able to do both. I want to be able to fret notes and play slide. The pickup sounds great. So thank you for whatever you did with that. It feels amazing.
Good.
The fret ends, all of it. Fantastic. All right, so
that nut for it this morning.
let me so put it on just clean, I think, real quick. Let's hear what that's more like, an electric sound with the amp.
All right.
That's amazing. All right, let's put it back on acoustic.
Delay down. Turn those off for the moment.
The feedback is like not quite.
Here, we'll just...
That's fine. I just wanted to test to make sure it was working. I usually put that through a preamp and it goes direct to the front of house, so it's fine.
keep it away from you.
is like it works great in a live setting. Like there was a couple of questions on when you were first drilling the 2 holes, and so someone asked why not just use a stereo jack,
Right, yeah.
and that absolutely could have worked. It would have been fine, but in my decades of playing live gigs, I hate having to have an extra doohickey, whatever, either a stereo cable or a Y cable, or that's like a point of failure that I will always have an extra 1/4 inch cord,
Right.
So the application that I will most likely be using this in, for different projects, for like, the main band for Barfly, my normal cover gig. I'll probably just use the magnetic pickup. I play it through my rig. I've got an amp sim or an acoustic sim that I will put on it to make it a little more acoustic out front. That way I don't have to deal with the feedback of the piezos and everything. But in more controlled environments where I really want more of a true acoustic sound, I can use the piezos, and I've got an acoustic preamp and all that. But the real magic for me is like where I blend the two. So I'll have the acoustic will go front of house, and then the electric goes through my pedal board and my chain, and I can swell in volume and delay and reverb and tremolo and whatever with the electric sound, and kind of control that balance between the two. And it makes if I'm one guitar in a band, it makes it sound just a little more full. I get the acoustic, the strummy thing, but then also get like this expansive, sort of fill out the sound behind it. So that's why I wanted the 2 pickups in there, and then to be able to blend them. But just putting it on one jack, I've got a couple of guitars that have that, and I actually have a PRS that has a jack that works as a mix jack. You can send it out and then switch on the guitar between the piezo, or it has 2 separate jacks. And I find that I almost always, I'm using it as an acoustic, I'm always using the second jack and then doing it, switching on the floor, blending stuff in, So that was sort of my reasoning behind this. I know it seemed a little nuts, but and then to be able to have the volume control right on the guitar for the magnetic pickup is also helpful if you're running through distortion or fuzz or whatever. But these pickups are great because so like a lot of people call this the Lightning Hopkins pickup.
Yeah.
It's what he used for all like the acoustic stuff, and John Martin is another like favorite of mine, singer-songwriter from the 70s, a British guy, and he used one of these on a lot of his stuff. He did all this kind of like thumpy finger style playing. It's just really cool sound. So, but man, part of the other thing that this guitar is going to be used for is like that new project that I've been kind of working on for several years, but this year I'm determined to finish it. So. But this feels amazing. What's also cool with the de-armond though is you can totally get like the jazzier stuff. It's acoustic-ish, but it's not. It's kind of very hollow body in a way, I mean, this is basically the same. It's a de-armond is basically the same as like the de-armonds that are in old Gretches. Like, you saw the Rube Goldberg machine that's inside this.
Yeah.
With the poles and everything. So
I thought that was pretty clever the way they figured all out, the different heights of the different magnets.
Yes.
Like, that's clever.
like it's got a thing when you do the when you turn it to a little bit of gain, you know. It's definitely has a vibe. I love it, man. This is great.
Good. I was hoping you'd be okay with it.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Whoa, that's weird.
Be right back.
We have reached the end of this project series. And I want to thank you all very much for taking the time to hang out with me as I've learned my way through this project. I also want to thank Roger, the owner of this guitar, for blind faith in me and give me the opportunity to learn on the job with this one. It's been pretty cool. It's neat taking things apart and seeing how they were built. What else? Boy, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Ring the bell for future notifications. Give the video a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know you like this kind of stuff. What else? Leave comments. Really love hearing from everybody all around the world. We have a great family that keeps growing. And until next time, take care of yourself and those around you. Bye.